What's going on, everyone? Nick or Catalyst here. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So I woke up this morning fully anticipating the fact that I would be making a medic class guide video, the how to not suck at medic class video that I've been putting off for months now. And as you can see by the gameplay in the video, it is the video I was planning to make today, and rest assured that video is coming out at some point this week. I just need to get some different gameplay because I'm using this gameplay now. But to the point, I saw an extremely interesting tweet this morning that really intrigued me and I think has a lot of talking points, and this tweet was about rental servers. And you all know by now how I feel about servers. It's been talked about a lot on my channel particularly, and it's been a big topic of debate for the past few weeks around the Battlefield YouTube landscape as a whole. So I decided to scrap that medic video today and get a microphone and just talk about this tweet and my thoughts on it in an unscripted video, and that's what this is. So what is this tweet? Well, I saw my teammate CJ post this tweet in DeFy chat this morning, the DeFy Discord, and this tweet comes from Battlefield Bulletin, which is a news source for everything Battlefield. I don't know if it's an actual website or just a Twitter news account, but I digress. And this tweet was covering a response by a DICE developer to somebody asking about hardcore mode and when it would be coming to Battlefield 5, if it would be coming to Battlefield 5. And the tweet says that DICE has not ruled out the possibility of bringing a rental server program to Battlefield 5. That much we already knew, at least for the time being, but the team is looking into giving the community a hardcore mode, and here's the part I'm interested in, possibly as user-created servers. And wow, that is extremely interesting to me, not because of anything hardcore mode related. I think hardcore mode is a crutch for people that have poor gun skill and need an even faster time to kill and surprise tactics to be able to kill people. But the fact that DICE is considering including player-created servers instead of having players rent the servers from DICE themselves is again extremely interesting to me, because there are so many connotations and ways that this idea can affect the game at this point in time. So when you think of something like a created server, a create and match system, I think the place that most people go to right away is Call of Duty, and how they've always had create a match servers with their game. It's been a part of pretty much every single launch for as long as I remember custom matches. And when it comes to how long I've been playing Battlefield, which is, let's see, Battlefield 3 came out in 2011, so it's been 8-something years now, it's always been rental servers for me. Even though apparently, according to my teammate Big C, they did have something like custom matches previously in titles prior to Battlefield 3. So it's not like this feature would be completely new to a franchise like Battlefield. But with the state that Battlefield 5 is in and the type of game that it's turned out to be thus far, I think it's just extremely interesting. And I keep using that word interesting because I'm not quite sure what to think about it. Like I said, there are so many different ways that this could go, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. But obviously DICE has shown with how they've talked about rental servers that they're not exactly the most gung-ho on giving us these servers because of how poorly the game has performed. And obviously rental servers is a gigantic, or I wouldn't say gigantic, but at least a significant monetary investment for them to kind of be on the fence about giving us servers. But that be what it may, there are so many different parties that rely on these services, especially competitive communities, you know, ESB, but also other communities that just run pub clan matches. And there are thousands of players that love these servers. So obviously, like I said, it's a big deal. But I think the difference between what Call of Duty has done with their custom matches and what DICE is potentially thinking of doing with custom matches, but also what DICE has done with rental servers, is I feel like with DICE and rental servers, it's more of the aura of, I'm going to allow you to use our servers, instead of what Call of Duty does, which is says, I'm going to enable you with the feature so that you can do what you want with your own custom match. And I think that's the better way of looking at it, and if that's what DICE is looking into doing, I am 2 thumbs up all the way into doing that, because that would allow a lot of different parties to do a lot of different things. And Most importantly, I don't think it would be that much of a monetary investment for DICE. You know, they don't have to go all in on having that many servers to facilitate a player base that is already dwindling and on a game that I feel like DICE has somewhat already given up on. So it's a matter of how much DICE wants to put into it, but it's also a matter of how many players are going to realistically use this feature, which I think a lot of people would. But it does bring up a couple of issues that I was thinking about. And one of those issues being is connectivity and how that would affect competitive matches. Just thinking of the way that custom matches work with Call of Duty, it's mostly peer-to-peer hosting. There are no dedicated servers, and that's one of the benefits of having a rental server program, is that the servers are dedicated. So when it comes to competitive play, having that connectivity and that peer-to-peer would obviously cause some issues if, you know, you're playing on a team that has multiple ethnicities, multiple countries. You know, a lot of the top teams have, you know, South American players, European players, North American players, Canadian players, although Canadian and American play on the same servers. The point is the same. Peer-to-peer connectivity could cause a whole host of issues that would be kind of difficult to tackle in a game like Battlefield. Another thing that I was thinking about is DICE and Battlefield don't have any pre-game lobby systems. You know, it's very, very black and white. It's you're either in a server or you're not in a server. So with a custom match system, it'd be kind of weird to see how they would go about getting players from one place to the other in terms of having them be outside the server and then inside the server. If there's one person setting up a custom match, say I'm setting up a custom match, how would people get into the server with me if they're not in my squad or whatever? You know, would the custom match just go up as a server like any other server would with, you know, with rental servers? I just said server a lot in a 30-second span, but would that custom match that I created go up as a server that other people could join? Or is it something that I need to give out the server number and password to, almost like a special key to get into a private server? I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that DICE could go about it, and that was one of my prevailing thoughts when I heard about this news and I read about this tweet, is how is DICE going to tackle that? Because in that aspect, if DICE is trying to copy, or I guess take points away from what Call of Duty has done with their custom match system, that's a discrepancy that could cause some issues. Now, potentially what they could do is they could do something like what they did with Incursions for the maybe 100 plus of you that actually played Incursions, but if there was a private match to be set up, there was a universal key code that you would get, and then you would load into a pre-game lobby type of server area where the players would be put on their appropriate teams. Now, there were problems with connectivity with that. You know, if somebody was having some internet issues, basically the entire lobby reset itself, and that ended up being a pain in the butt. And as I talked about a little bit earlier, peer-to-peer hosting, especially with some of these top tier teams, is going to be an issue because a lot of them come from a lot of different parts of the globe. But despite all that, whether it's casual or whether it's competitive, I think DICE just needs to do something. Any step anywhere would be a step in the right direction, because doing nothing is just going to further decline the life of the game. And I really think that the only way for DICE to even partially save this game is if they have some kind of either rental server program or custom match. So with news that they might actually be doing something with custom matches, as I said early on, it's giving me a lot of hope that DICE is maybe finally starting to listen, but they need to do this right. This is kind of a last chance kind of thing for DICE and Battlefield 5, because even though Firestorm is not being developed by DICE and it's being developed by Criterion, I think, don't quote me on that, either way, they can't rely on that. I said that in the last video as well. They cannot rely on the Battle Royale. They need something else, and I think this would be a good way to do it. But as I said, there's a lot of different variables that need to be worked out when they do it, and I'm very interested to see how they do it. So with that being said, tell me what you all think in the comment section below. Do you want custom matches? Do you want rental servers? Do you not want either of those things? Let me know what you think, as well as any other ideas that you might have. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If you're new here, subscribe and turn on post notifications. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Nick or Catalyst, and I will see you all another time.